Good morning, everybody. You are now tuned in to the Reach Podcast with LeVar Ellis, where every show reaches beyond the ears of listeners. And today, as you can see, I'm in the studio by myself. Today, I'm going to give you an opportunity to walk through with me on the journey of Dad Chronicles. So we're going to talk all things Dad Chronicles today, and give you guys an idea of why I'm doing what I'm doing and the purpose of what this whole movement is all about. But of course, in the beginning, we want to talk about a couple things last night. Shout out to all the Houston Rockets fans. The Rockets won last night, 129 to 112 against the Golden State Warriors. And I know some are going to say they were shorthanded. We understand that. But just shout out to Russell Westbrook, had 30 points last night. James Harden had, had 18 points, and James Harden had 36 points. And then followed up Clint Capella. Had him a big game. He had 19 points, 16 rebounds. P.J. Tucker had 22 points last night. So it was all around good game. Mr. Austin Rivers came in with 12. So just wondering what the talk is going to be this year with Russell Westbrook and James Harden on the court at the same time together. Hopefully they figure it all out and they can keep the game going to where they're working the court together. So it's just a good opportunity to see what is going to come of this connection and this collaboration on the court. Next, I'd like to talk about some things that have been going on throughout the week that have caught my attention. And of course, number one, we had a chance to go and work the polls on this past Wednesday and had an opportunity to see the community come out and make their votes. So I hope everybody had a chance to go out and cast their votes because the local elections and the inner city elections took place. And just can't wait to see what's going to turn out. And know we're having the biggest thing is we're having a runoff with Mayor Turner and also Mr. Bugsby. So we'll see what happens with that off in December. Starts all over. So y'all make sure y'all get y'all votes in on that. And then another thing, it's just been a real busy week in regards to the Dad Chronicles movement. I have some individuals who have been calling, and the mentor part of the movement has really been stretched, I would say, this week, to where I'm having some young men that are looking for assistance and needing the mentorship. So I've been making sure I'm at the beck and call of those phone calls. And then also we've had some close friends of mine that need some assistance as well. So we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. But again, today, like I said, I want to talk about why I started this, what's the point behind it, and so that way you guys can get a better in-depth idea of what's really going on. So just going back to the beginning, the start of the whole Dad Chronicles thing really started a long time ago. As a young man, I've always wanted to try to have something for young men to lean on, like a boys or a girls club. We used to go to YMCA back to the day. They have the Boys and Girls Club. It's always been a desire of mine to do something like that. But what happens is that you may not always have the steps in place and the plan in place. And then I just really feel that through this time of my life, God has been grooming me for the position that He's placed me in now. And what I mean by that is that over this past year, there's been some things taking place that has opened my eyes up to a whole new view of what we should do as men. And so basically that's what the Dad Chronicles movement is all about. It's about the empowerment of men and making us be a little bit more aware of what we're doing, but also beyond that, actually taking action into the things that we're trying to do. So speeding up, this past July 2nd, I was saying June at first, but it's actually July. On Tuesday, July 2nd, is kind of where it got ignited. And before that, I was on my sister's show, Mika Diamond. Shout out to Mika Diamond. And, I made a comment about, wanting to do something in regards to a movement like what I've started. And so from there, again, I make the joke, as she always does. She kind of kicked me in the butt, so to speak, in regards to it, and just kind of threw it out there on my first appearance on her show. And on that show, there was a gentleman, shout out to Michael K. Joseph, that was there, and talking about a few things in regards to what he's doing. And it went by way of us talking about chess. And so in regards to that, then there was an idea that we would get together, collaborate, and try to establish chess clubs around, or more chess clubs, I should say, around the city. And with me being on the Southwest, it was an idea. We talked about it, we thought over it, and then got a chance to go and visit him out in Cypress and Humble at his chess club, and saw the kids there in the location. They were in a McDonald's. They were playing, and it was good to see them engaging in something totally different that would get their minds going and get the interaction of a totally different type of activity from what we're used to seeing our kids play. It was very, very, very interesting. So from that point, I took the opportunity to start putting pieces together and putting people together that would aid and assist me into developing a chess club of my own. So that took about 2 or 3 weeks to get that together. But in the process of that, coming up on July 2nd is where I got my first kid of DAD Chronicles. I call him my first kid of DAD Chronicles, Mr. Jamani Wright. And so what happened from there, he was here visiting the city of Houston with his family. And, they were looking for something him to get involved in. And at this time, I had already made a connection with the World Youth Foundation as a volunteer. And I was at the school volunteering an hour and a half of my time, just mentoring kids, teaching them a particular curriculum of the day. I would have to make up, a curriculum that we were going to talk about, something that was in line with them learning inside the classroom and even outside the classroom. And so, came up with different things in regards to discipline, integrity, leadership, happiness, and just different things that they would engage in and talking about and being creative. We had drawing sessions to where, they could create their own drawings and actually talk about the things that they were doing and just exercising their mind. And then also that's where I developed the critical thinking aspect of my whole movement, because that's the biggest thing. Critical thinking and being engaged with these kids, it was very important to me to see them being able to use their minds in ways that they haven't, or don't normally use it. So that was really, really, really big. And so that's sort of like the tagline of everything that I do is critical thinking and focus. So with that being said, this young man came and volunteered with me, and then the chess club took place, and we were able to secure a spot on the southwest side of Houston at the Texan Wobble Wing House, and we had our first chess club meeting on July 14th. And since then, we meet every Sunday. It's 8200 Willcrest, so again, bring your kids out. We're dealing with kids between the age of 5 and 17, but at this point in the growth that we've made is that we're inviting even adults. I've had adults ask me, can you teach me how to play chess? Yeah, if you have an interest, come on out. If you have a skill set and you're interested in giving some of your time and donating your time to these kids, we do need more coaches as well. So we've met every Sunday since then, like I said, from 2 to 4 at the same place. So I think we're in our week 14 right now. And we've had to postpone about 3 or 4 meetings in the process just due to other things that have happened throughout the course. But without fail, every week, week in, week out, we've been able to corral a total of about 30 to 40 kids that are on the roster. And of course, not every week, we're not going to have 30 or 40 show up every week because of other obligations, but we definitely have a consistent core group of about 15 kids, no matter what, each week, and possibly more than that from week to week. But the rotation is steady, the rotation is good, and these kids are getting the opportunity to do something different, see something different. We play tournaments each week. We instill in them chess lessons and strategies that they can use, because for those who do know how to play chess, you understand that there's no particular way that you have to do it. And so that's the whole focus, is we want to have these kids have the opportunity to have different strategies in mind, different ways of playing, different moves, understanding the board, and then we relate that back to life in regards to the chess pieces out on the board. And then shout out to all my people that helped me out there. Roy Dillard with Life Jackets, Mika Diamond, of course, with Visible Evidence, Ms. Demetrius Perkins with D-Jets, my man Doc, appreciate you. I have Coach Chip Downey from A-Leaf that used to come in, and Mama P, I appreciate you. She's there week in and week out, with a couple of exceptions. We have Ms. Lori Baptiste. She's actually a teacher at my son's school. So we've just been able to corral different people to come in and be just a driving force behind this. And of course, Miss Crystal Gonzalez, I appreciate you. She's recruited some families and some kids as well. And if I'm forgetting anybody, please forgive me. But the point behind it is that when you develop something for these kids, we want consistency. And so that's another thing that we do. Every Sunday we're there without fail, again, unless we've had to reschedule for something that's actually pertaining to kids. Like we took them to the U of H football game one week, so we didn't have chess that particular weekend, but we took them out on Sunday. We were able to corral them in and have a good time out at the game. And then there's been a time where we had another obligation with another organization where we partnered to support Miss LaShonda Dean Jackson at her tea party for some girls, and I was able to take 2 or 3 young ladies out to experience the tea party. So it's small things like that that would be the only reason why we rescheduled the chess club. So my point in saying that is that consistency is a big thing. So we're looking for, if you want to get involved, consistency is the main thing, to let these kids know that they do have something that they can count on, and it's a little bit different. And like I was saying, we relate it to the game of life, to where we teach them the pieces, understand how they move, and the way that relates to life is there's going to be people in your life that are steady, that are constant, and they have different positions in your life. And as long as you understand how to move and how to cooperate with these folks and develop relationships and understand your position with these people, they can help you and assist you in getting to the ultimate goal, which is winning and being successful. So that's how we go back and forth. We do a little pop quiz, and every week without fail we have a winner of the chess club tournament that day. We award them with money or maybe a prize. We're celebrating birthdays, which again, to any of my chess club that's watching right now, we're going to go out to the Black Labrador Club of our Montrose this week and play on the life-size chess club. So that's going to be something a little bit different. Have some lunch and just mingle and just give them an opportunity to get out and do a little something different. And again, cross your fingers, because I hope the weather holds up for us on Sunday. We've been watching that. So just throughout the course of that, we've watched new kids come in, get excited about it, and we want to keep that excitement. And chess is not like any other sport, so it's not a lot of cheering and applauding and stuff like that, but we want to make sure that we do that as well. So we encourage them as they're learning. You can go on my Instagram page, and there's a couple videos of 4 and 5 year olds learning the pieces and understanding how they move, and so that's a big celebration for them. And again, the birthday celebrations is going to be big for us. So again, that's the first part of the journey. So after that, I'm developing more mentorships from the Dad Chronicles, and it's going to be through entrepreneurship, where we're able to do fundraisers for them. We want to help them with their careers, helping them understand that there's many things that they can do at an early age to be entrepreneurs, so that way they can have the ability to establish something for themselves long term. And then of course education is always big. And through doing that, partnered now, actually a community partner with the World Youth Foundation. Shout out to Miss Karen Franklin. And I consider her my, just like my mother mentor, and of the nonprofit organization world. And her organization is just like from A to Z. It's truly one of the best organizations I've seen, been a part of when it comes to the kids and giving them an opportunity to do a whole lot of things that they normally wouldn't be afforded to do. And so where we come in is that no organization can do everything for these kids by themselves. And so the realization from that is becoming partners, and if you get a lot of people to come in for the same purpose, then we can broaden the perspective and the spectrum of what we can actually do for these kids. So that's been really big and helpful in regards to that, and opening up these new opportunities that we look forward to do. And so one of the taglines is just integrity, and I give these kids certain definitions sometimes to help them understand what we're talking about, because you hear words and you just say things and you don't really know what it means. But getting the definition of integrity, it's the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral of righteousness, and just believing in the things that you need to do. And if you say something, you make sure you do it. And that's just having integrity. And that's the point of this movement as well, is to make sure that the things we're setting out to do for these kids, we're getting it done. Another part of this journey for me has been what I call self-therapy, and again, we want our young men and fathers around the world to stand up, be stronger. And so in light of that, I've had to do the same thing. Some people have heard my story in regards to the light impact that my father had on me, and so we were able to come together through this process and, you know, ignite a whole new standard of dealing with each other. And so that's a big thing. You know, when you're able to establish a goal and actually reach it, but then you're able to do it by example, then that's something that's really going to motivate people. And it's all about leadership, and it's all about leading by example. And so that was a big thing in this process as well. But the thing that really sparked it is I went to a Chauncey Glover event, and it was a strong mentorship program I got to witness. And that day, the big thing for me is Chronicles. Number one, it is a God-sent movement, you know, and I mean, it's just amazing how the whole process of what I wanted to do was just placed on my shoulders all at one time. I mean, I just saw it as if it was a movie, you know, from one step to the next. But of course, everything is in His time and is in His workings. And so that's what's been happening, and that's why I wanted to kind of explain the journey and the process of what's been going on throughout this process. And so in doing so, you have the opportunity to engage with other men. You have the opportunity to engage with other young men, and you all find out that you have a common bond. You know, everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to set an example, unless you're just, you know, absolutely not in tune with what your purpose is. And so, to answer the question, what is DAD Chronicles? DAD Chronicles is a movement designed to inspire, promote, push, motivate, and encourage young men and young women as well now to be the best person that they can actually be. And we're going to do that through things, like I said, like the chess club, giving them the opportunity to create new ways for themselves, giving them the opportunity to engage with one another and build up on the aspirations that they have with the strong foundation and support of adults and mentors that are doing some of the things that they're already doing. And so moving forward, what we want to do is try to establish new relationships with companies, other nonprofits, and other individuals that have that same desire to build with these kids and build their futures just one kid at a time. So some of the things that we have coming up here in the near future, again, shout out to my girl Mika. She has Mika Day coming up next Saturday on November 16th. We're going to get out into the community, and we're going to, at the Hess Club actually, and have the opportunity to box up some Thanksgiving meals and feed families for the holiday. And this is all in the name of her brother, Mr. Jackie L. Morris, which you guys know the story about him being killed and what she's dedicated her life to in regards to keeping his name alive and doing things in a positive way. And so with that being said, that's just another opportunity for me to collaborate with her, give back to the community. We're feeding kids and feeding families, and so that's really big within itself. Another thing I like to talk about is again, going back to the World Youth Foundation. I've now partnered with them, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I go to Whole Foods over in the Galleria, Annie's Pretzels in the Galleria, and even El Pollo in the Galleria area. And we're able to, some people may have seen the post that I've made and had the opportunity to be blessed, but that's another thing and another part of the DAD Chronicles mission is to give back in any way that you can. So through this relationship, I've been able to head up part of what they call the joy of giving. And so through that process, been able to feed, I mean, literally have touched over 50 different families, you know, certain individuals. Shout out to Siobhan, shout out to Daryl, who are strong cancer fighters right now. We're making sure that they have the nutrition that they need, and appreciate them being on my show 2 weeks ago. So you got a chance to see their story. And like we said on that show, without fail, we're going to make sure that they have what they need to keep fighting and have the nutrition and the strength that they need physically to do what they need to do. So that's another initiative of ours. And also, shout out to the Ogle Cosmetology School over in Stafford. There's a gang of young ladies over there, you know, the quote, the starving student. They're looking to expand their careers into the beauty and the fashion and the hair industry. And so I have the opportunity to go and drop off foods, fruits and vegetables, non-perishable goods, and it really helps these young ladies, man. And to see them get on my Instagram and make posts and videos and thank me through my daughter, who also attends that school as well, trying to get to the next level in life, is just another opportunity and another reason why we're doing what we're doing. And the thing is, I can't do everything by myself, so I plead and I urge anybody who has the time and has the desire and has just the will to get out and be part of something that's going to be beneficial to the next person, then I just urge you to inbox me, text me, call me. My number is now on my flyers on Instagram, or you can email DAD Chronicles if you want to get involved. And again, the reason why I want to talk about this is because everybody wants to know what they're making or what they're being a part of, and so it's very important that you understand that when you donate your time, or when you donate money, or when you give your time, or when you're giving money, that you understand that it's going toward a good cause. And that's the purpose in having this opportunity to really go into depth in regards to the things that are really happening, because can't post everything. Can't say everything that I'm doing, but the days are full, the days are busy, and it's always about helping the next person. But also, again, it's self-awareness, and it's also self-therapy, to where you understand that, man, there's always somebody out there that's a little worse off than you. There's somebody that can always use a blessing, whether it's just a phone call. Because the things that are not told are the phone calls that I get, the visits that I make, the individuals that lean on me when they see what's going on, and then the inspiration and the encouragement for people to step up. I won't give any names, but I just spoke with a young lady yesterday. I would have never thought I could be the blessing that I'm going to be here in the near future in regards to the situation that she's going through. So that just helps me understand, because the process and the chain of the way the events took place is nothing but God that allowed things to happen the way that they happen. So if you're there, or you're out there, if you need assistance, or you want assistance, or the things that you see DAD Chronicles doing could help and benefit you in any shape, form, or fashion, don't be shy about it. Because that's another thing. DAD Chronicles is bold and brave, and we're going to be on the forefront to do as much as we can possibly do. And I'm looking forward to this movement growing well beyond where it is now. And I mean, since July, things have just grown in ways that I would never imagine, and that can't be nothing but God and nothing but His plan. So I'm fully aware of that, and just trying to move in the way that I know is going to be most effective and make the biggest impact possible. And so with that being said, now I have the opportunity to actually corral in another individual that has specific needs, and you have to be intentional about these things that you're doing, and also holding to your word of when you say you're going to do something, that you're actually getting these things done. So that's a big part, which goes back to consistency. That's something that we really need. That's something that the community needs, is the consistency of others blessing others, because that's a big part of the reason and why things happen the way they happen when people come together, just keep the blessings flowing. So that's another big part of it. Another thing that I wanted to cover is just the fact that when you are not intentionally doing things to get or receive credit, then that's where your blessings come from too. Because it was actually a struggle for me to post or display certain things on social media. But after talking to an individual, like I said, that I look at as a mentor, and explaining that, when you're doing it from a place in your heart that comes from sincerity, you don't have to worry about what other people are thinking, because you actually want to put these things out there so that it can corral in other people, so that people can understand and see what you're doing, and understand that the impact that you're making, they can be a part of that, and it's not about me, it's not about them, it's about the point at hand, and the purpose at hand, and the mission that we're trying to fulfill. So I'm going to boldly continue to do that, and I encourage other people to do that as well, which leads me to another point of being excited about another movement that a friend of mine, I won't say names yet because we're working on some things that actually went to school with. And just through the process of doing that, I got a phone call. It's like, man, I appreciate what you're doing. I see what you're doing, and we need to get together. And so I've been looking, and that came through way of one of my parents of the chess club, and we made the connection that way. Excuse me. And so they're blessing people in the food area. They're gathering non-perishables and foods of all kinds, and they deliberately and intentionally go out into the community and they give back. So DAD Chronicles is proud to announce that collaboration which you get more details on that, to where this movement that I have going from World Youth Foundation with the Joy of Giving to just me taking it to the places like the Ogle School, Cosmetology School, blessing these young kids, going to certain individuals individually and blessing them. And we have a large surplus, and I find myself just having to randomly hand this stuff out. Now we're going to be able to be a little bit more well organized in the way we go about the distribution of the foods, and that's huge. You know, it's not just a holiday type of thing. This is a year-round deal that we want to do and make the type of impact that needs to be made. And, you know, it's on a smaller scale than some organizations, I'm sure, right now, but we're looking well beyond that. And if you can't see, you know, your next steps ahead of you, then you got to open up and broaden your spectrum in regards to the things that you're trying to do. So, again, saying all that to say that Dad Chronicles is on the move. Dad Chronicles is trying to do some great things. Dad Chronicles wants to make an impact in anybody's lives that comes across the pathway of this movement, which the next point is I'm glad to announce that I'm in the final stages of becoming a nonprofit. So this will be the newest nonprofit in the city of Houston, and hopefully expanding well beyond the city of Houston to engage in different arenas to where, you know, the impact made by this movement can take place all over the world. And I mean that literally. But it all starts in one place, and you just have to keep striving and keep moving and understanding that what you're doing has a strong purpose, which that's why the scripture for Dad Chronicles is my life scripture, Jeremiah 29:11, which says that, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans of a hope in the future. So you have to believe in that. You have to know that there is a plan, and if you don't have one, then that's another good reason to connect with people that are like-minded, people that are fulfilling the desire that you have in your heart, because it's going to open up again, new opportunities, new ideas, and it's going to motivate you to make the impact that you desire to make. So you know, don't be stagnant. Don't be shy about it. Be bold about it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to say that you're helping an individual and it's not all about you, because it's not about that. You know, and I tell anybody right now, you know, yeah, God's using me right now to do what I'm doing, but, you know, I'm not the only one doing that. So it's not about LeVar Ellis. It's about Dad Chronicles. It's about these kids that we're helping. It's about the families that are being touched. It's about the individuals that are dealing with specific needs, and those needs are being met. I thank God through my movement and through my initiative and through people that are seeing what I'm doing, that are wanting me to align with them. That's really, really, really important. And you know, I don't take that for granted at all. So with that being said, when you get on Facebook and you see right now, my birthday is on Monday. So shout out to myself. This coming Monday, Veterans Day, 11/11. That's my birthday. But this year, you know, I've dedicated a portion of whatever I get for my birthday is going to Mika Day. I've said that once before, and we stand on that to help support that movement. And then also the rest, everything goes through my movement, Dad Chronicles. I mean, it's gas, it's more chessboards, it's food. That's the other thing I didn't mention. Every single Sunday, we feed these kids after the chess club is over with. And, you know, we give them the opportunity to make sure that they can have fun, and then they go home fed as well. And so, and then there's other things that are coming up as far as T-shirts, as far as the other mentorship programs, as far as the business owner entrepreneurship, where we're going to mold them into, or not necessarily mold them into, but give them the opportunity to see what it's like to actually run a small business and do different fundraisers. And all those things take funds, all those things take volunteers and take people. So that's what I'm really looking forward to right now. So my fundraiser that I have posted is going to be running throughout the whole month, you know, and like I put on there, it only takes $1. If I can get $1 from everybody that I know on Facebook, then the need is met automatically. So just stay in touch, you know, stay a part of what's going on, because you'll actually see, because like I said, the posting and the display of what's going on is what's most important, so that everybody understands that these funds and then the intentions and the words that are being spoken are going to exactly what we say they're going to be going to. So we want to make sure that we expose that and people actually understand that these things are actually going on. Not lastly, but the next thing I want to talk about is the opportunities that that are awarded to you when you're faithful and when you're diligent, and when you don't necessarily see what's going to happen down the line. Because I'm a living witness to where if you have something on your heart and you just take action and you pray over it and you pray about it and you're diligent, the opportunities are going to come. The resources are going to come, because none of this is happening for me personally. All these things are happening from things being dropped on me, the relationships being dropped on me, the needs being met, being dropped on me. But we all know that's coming from God. And like I said, a big portion of that comes from the collaboration with the World Youth Foundation. But the biggest thing is your belief. You know, your belief in what you have going on, your belief in what you want to do. And this ties over into your personal life as well. You know, when you desire to do something and you have a belief, you have to go into it being faithful and understanding that the things can happen. You know, you can't be half-cocked, as they would say. You know, you gotta have a plan and work your plan. You gotta understand that there's things that you're gonna have to do to actually work and get out there and make things happen. And if you have to just sacrifice some self things, then you want to do that as well too. Not be confused with sacrificing yourself as a whole, because the other thing is we want you to be healthy. We want you to have the best spirit that you can have. We want you to have that you can have as well. So through Dad Chronicles, that's another thing we're going to do, is just the healthy youth from around the whole perspective, from the mind to the body, and also the spirit, because you want to make sure that you get those ethics and get those morals in these kids and these youth at a very, very, very early age. And we want to have them aware that things like reading, things like diligence, things like obedience and respect, are being taught at a very, very, very early age, because it's going to help them go a lot further in life than they would normally go when they don't display these things. So having a strong mind, body, and spirit is very important, which kind of segues into what's going to be going on this Saturday with the World Youth Foundation over at the Justin Library by the Houston Zoo. They're going to be having a session on that where we meet every second Saturday. Again, another collaboration, another partnership, and giving these kids the opportunity to go out and get the experience and get the knowledge and get modules actually being taught to them about these things, and Dad Chronicles stepping in and actually being a volunteer to give time back to these kids. There's a multitude of things that we can do and things that we can talk about with the kids when it comes to the mind, body, and the soul. Because if we can't get the kids to understand holistically what their purpose is and understanding how they can move about in life, then we're missing the boat just off the top. And that's one of the most important things about the situation as it is making sure that the kids get what they need. Dad Chronicles is also infectious, which means that you don't have to be a dad. You can be an uncle, you can be a mentor, you can be a coach, you can be a teacher, you could be just a friend and associate to any individual, in the individual youth that you're dealing with. And when you take the time to understand what's going on with them, ask them about their day, ask them about their lives. I mean, guys, y'all just don't know how many kids that like actually text me and call me and count on me. I'm not having to, but willingly wanting to go to their games. And it doesn't take much to do that. We all have kids. I have kids of my own. We can't forget our own in the process. We have to continue to do what we do for ours. And but you want to love on the youth in a way that you would love on your own, so that way if they're not getting that, because they might not outright tell you that that's what's going on, but if you have any common sense, when when these teenagers tend to cling to you, or they're talking to you, or they're just expressing the need of wanting to have some interaction, there's reasons behind that, in a multitude of ways. And then that segues me into the collaboration I've made and the partnership that I've made with two young ladies who are licensed therapists and also psychologists. And so we have the opportunity for our kids, if they're dealing with something, we open the door for them to be able to talk with these ladies and have the opportunity to express themselves to professionals, because that's not my arena. Not no way, shape, form, or fashion do I want to confuse it like, I'm the therapist, or, I have all the answers, but we do have professionals, and that's what's important. The resources that we're gaining too is that they can go to these individuals and actually speak to them about their problems, who can actually talk to them, and then also have family sessions, because my thing is all of this starts at home. Everything starts at home. So, but some kids don't have a home to call a home. They don't have parents. You know, they might not have the correct leadership in the home. Whatever the case may be, we're not here to judge that. What we are here to do is to fill in the gap. You know, filling in the gap means just stepping up in any shape, form, or fashion for any youth, you know, in any way that you can. So that way, you know, instead of talking down on them or talking about them, and we get it. I know there's those situations where there's just knuckleheads that's not going to listen. And that is what it is. But even those, you can leave an impact. And the impact is just what you say, what you do, giving them a hug, you know, giving them a stern suggestions in regards to their actions, because they're all sponges. You know, they soak up everything that they encounter. They're going to remember it. They're going to understand it at some point in their life, which I tell my kids all the time. I might not live to the day that you actually come and tell me that you appreciate or you understand or you get it, which, you know, I feel like I will outlive that. But even if you don't, come a point in time to where anything that you've done or anything that you've said is going to come to fruition. It's going to come to the forefront of their mind. It's going to come to the forefront of their being and help them to make that right decision. That's why we can't take these moments for granted, and make sure that we're giving them the advice and giving them the guidance that they need. So again, Dad Chronicles is just that outlet, is that resource that's needed. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about my boy Roy in regards to being intentional. Mr. Roy Dillard, the founder of Life Jackets nonprofit organization, he gives out life jackets, like literal life jackets, actual life jackets for kids, you know, because that's what you call a preventable death. So that's another thing that's really, really, really big. When you see there's a need to be met, be proactive about it, you know, and go and meet that head on. So I'm excited about sometime here in the near future to be able to get together with him and actually experience what he's doing. And that's another form of partnering and giving back your time towards something else where we're still fulfilling the need for these youth. You know, so being intentional is a big part of the movement as well. Having a purpose and understanding that you have to do certain things to actually fulfill the need and fulfill the mission that you're trying to accomplish, which is a big thing. So, and being intentional, that's why all these things are being done. Have certain people that are behind the scenes, certain people that donate monthly and weekly and just give back, you know, in the fashion of wholeheartedness and not worrying about recognition, you know, or being exposed in any certain type of way. But it's very, very, very important to understand that when you do that, then you just never know what's going to follow up behind that. So I want to take this time to kind of thank a few people that have been riding with me, as they say, shooting in the gym, being part of the movement and understanding what I'm doing and being very, very, very encouraging week in and week out. So this is like my plea and my plight, you know, to tell everybody that's listening, everybody that's tuned in, man, stick with Dad Chronicles. We're doing big things, you know, donate your time, you know, give back to the organization and the movement, soon to be a nonprofit. Donate your money, because it's all going to help and aid in the movement of what we're trying to do with these kids. So again, officially, I'd like to thank Miss Stephanie Lacey, who's a counselor over at the Oval Beauty School over in Stafford, and all the young ladies and all the other teachers, Miss Roberts. I appreciate you guys over there giving us the opportunity. And they can look forward to, I'll give a shout out to Miss Chrissy Don right now. She has something big coming up over there at the Old School, Beauty School. I won't announce what's going on. I'll let her do that. But, you know, it's another opportunity to collaborate with individuals that are doing things to give back to the community. And then also, Miss Sharon Jones. I just officially met her last week when I had the show on credit with Miss Tico Hausman. Shout out to her. And Miss Sharon Jones was the catalyst in getting Miss Hausman to come on the show. But they reached out to me, and I was just kind of shocked and in awe, so to speak. But then she gets on the show with my man Eddie Machete. Shout out to Eddie Machete. They knew each other, and we've talked about some things. So I look forward to you know, us talking a little bit more, Ms. Jones, in regards to individuals that she feels like I need to connect with, and that's a big thing. Just Add Beats organization, Mr. Andrew Carnavis, and he's a audio production and entrepreneur for the kids. That's one of the things we're going to do in addition to Miss Mika. She don't even know yet, but I'm officially announcing that now. You know, it's just getting these kids involved in some different type of things. They all want to be producers. Music is big right now, so that's going to be another opportunity that's coming up. I like to shout out to one of my parents of the chess club, Miss Ashana Orr. She's been critical in getting her son out there and spreading the word about Dad Chronicles in the chess club. So I appreciate you doing that. And just want to shout out to her business. Her and Mika, they can make connections called Fantasy Days. You can get with her in regards to that. Miss family have a food truck, you know, and I look forward to us volunteering and helping her out, because that lady works a lot with that food truck. That's a big thing. Financial literacy is something else that we're going to start implementing with the kids. With the director at AFM, Mr. Lonnie Matthews, going to make some connections and appreciate him and doing the things that he's done up to this point in regards to helping out with the movement. Also, my man and the newest member of the GMT family, my man Coach Brown, Al Brown, the man who created this shirt, Dad Chronicles. Y'all can get with him about any of your t-shirt creations that you want. But it was critical. I mean, not only did he create this shirt, you guys have seen my the Reach podcast shirt. I appreciate you, Coach. You just don't know. I mean, I didn't have to call him. He called me. Hey, man, I got something for you. I show up, didn't expect it. And it's things like that, man. To me, that's a Dad Chronicle moment in itself. You know, recognizing what I'm trying to do, understanding the need for promotion, and just stepping up and doing something that's big. And not only that, if you catch him, his podcast is called On Blast, and they'll be on there on on Friday evenings here at the GMT Radio family. You can see that and get on his Instagram as well. But you know, this guy is just all about the kids, man. A coach. You know, we've had our kids playing together in Little League for a while. Now they're on to middle school ball and now going into high school ball. So it's a big thing to have somebody who follows you and been known and to stick by you and to do some big things. So, man, I appreciate that. And I've said it time and time again. I can't thank the World Youth Foundation enough for, you know, the support and the catapulting of what I'm doing that they've given and done. And, you know, the relationships are appreciated. So definitely appreciate that. And so one of my counselors that I was talking about is Ms. Brittany Dawson with Pure Hope Counseling. I appreciate you and the conversations and the talks that you've had with the kids at the chess club. And again, she's another young lady that was referred into the Dad Chronicles movement and came out, you know, didn't hesitate, came out and spoke, saw what we had going on. And I look forward to the parent workshop that we're going to be doing once a month alongside of Miss Rashida. And Miss Rashida Perrine, she's the other counselor who did the same thing, came in. She was first on board in that light. And now we have two individuals that are of the same profession that have the opportunity to build a strong program that could help not only the individual kids, but the families as well. And so I really appreciate that and can't wait to see what's going to come out of that happening. And then another member here at the GMT Family Radio, Miss Anaya Cotton. I have to shout out to her. This young 9-year-old young lady was awesome. We had a chance to go on her show with the kids from the chess club. And y'all can check her out on Anaya Cotton Show on Instagram and on YouTube. And look for the Dad Chronicles show, where she wanted to display what we were doing. Still waiting for you to come out there. This Sunday will be a good day if that weather holds up. But yeah, shout out to her and her mom, Miss Sheena, and her little sister. I mean, you guys were awesome. That show was great, you know, and I appreciate the opportunity of you guys reaching out to me. So, again, you know, this show is a little bit different than what's been going on. I appreciate those who have been locked in with me. And just understand that it's a multitude of things that's going on. I'm not just putting on this shirt just for show. I'm not jumping on the podcast just for show. There's a purpose, there's intention, and there's a drive behind it, you know, and I won't allow anything but God's will to deter anything that I'm doing from happening. And it's done with passion, it's done with wholeheartedness. And so if there's anything that anybody out there that's listening can bring to the table to better the movement with the kids through partnership, or if you just have any ideas, or if you just want to volunteer, I ask that you please make the connection. Again, you can reach me at dadchronicles@gmail.com. That's Chronicles, KRONICLES, and Dad is just regular, Dad, DAD, dadchronicles@gmail.com. My cell phone number is on my Instagram page, on my Facebook page, on the Chess Club flyer. You can reach me there. You can send a text, because it's just important to continue to grow and continue to expand. I'm getting calls to open up chess clubs in Pearland, open up chess clubs on the Humble area, which they already have chess clubs, I've told them, and then also in the northwest side of town. So we want to get into areas that don't have that, don't meet that need, because you'd be surprised at the reaction that you can get from these kids. But in order to do that, it's going to take more volunteers to step up and be able to fulfill the need that we have. And so if you have that desire to be a leader in that right now, because we have the modules that you can do from week to week, things that you can teach the kids. You don't have to be a professional, because by no means was I a professional when I started this, and that was another thing. Don't be nervous about anything that is placed on your lap, man. Just boldly take it by the horns and just move forward, because you'll be surprised at the results and the outcome of the things that you can do and the impacts that you'll make. So, I want everybody to remember impact, remember critical thinking, and understand that when you're going outside of yourself to be a blessing, that it is going to bless you back 10 times in return, especially when you're not even looking for it. So it's important to keep that in mind and to make sure that you stay connected with this movement to help us move forward and to help us, like I said, keep blessing these kids. And lastly, hey, Mick, I see my girl jumped on. Again, we want to make sure that we keep in mind the fundraiser that I have posted on Facebook. Please make donations to that. Part of those proceeds, like I said, are going to Mika Day, which is next Saturday, November 16th. And throughout the month, I'm going to leave it up. So it's all in honor of my birthday and all in honor of me having the opportunity and the passion and the drive to give back to these kids in a multitude of ways. And every dollar will be accounted for. And lastly, before I get off, just like I talk about sports, I have to talk about Scorpios. It's November all month long. I want to say happy birthday to my man DeRoyce Lemonnier. Today is his birthday. He's my fellow Scorpio. Anybody that I've missed so far, it's the 7th day of the month. I know there's some Scorpios in October. I'm sorry, I'm biased. I just feel like if you're not in November, you're not a Scorpio. But no, it's one big family. So shout out to all the Scorpios out there. If you want some laughs, if you want some jokes, or if you want some insight on Scorpios, I'm posting it every day on my Instagram. It's Lee to you, at it's Lee, the number 2 and the letter U. You can check out my comments and my posts and my memes about Scorpios. Everybody, y'all know the realest sign in the zodiac is Scorpio, so they don't need to fight about it or deny it. That's just the truth. But but no. So like I said, gonna run this thing throughout the rest of the month, and look forward to those who will donate. Thank you to everybody who already has, and just know that there's big things gonna come from this. And then also, every week right here on GMT Podcast Radio, you can catch my show, The Reach Podcast Show, where every show reaches beyond the ears of listeners. And from week to week, we're going to cover different things. And hopefully this show gave you an insight more of what I'm doing, why I'm doing, and look forward for more to come, because there's just different things that are going on every week. Getting the opportunity to get into the schools, that's something I want to talk about too before I get off, is getting into these schools. We're building up a core curriculum for the kids that's going to help them out. Shout out to Coach Sin and Coach Smith. I appreciate you guys. Those are like my family. Those are actually family, man. And just the connections that are being made. I mean, if I've forgotten anybody, I do apologize. One of my most faithful friends and supporters, I have to shout out to Miss Peaches. I appreciate you. And then again, Miss Joseph, I appreciate you for all the network material that you give me. Ms. Cole, appreciate you. My mom, who's in studio again as usual, I appreciate you. And guys, shout out to you guys, all the men around that's listening. Shout out to you. I can't see you, but I'm gonna say I see you. But it's time for y'all to step forward, man. Just hit me up, text me, call me. Shout out to the men who have called me. And if you think what you've seen so far is pretty good, you're gonna be amazed by the things that are gonna take place here in the near future, because we're going into a shift. And there's just some major things that are about to happen, you know, and I'm speaking it, I'm seeing it, and I want as many people to be a part of it as possible. And if you can't do nothing else, pray. You know, pray over the situation. Pray for me, pray for my strength, pray for these individuals' lives that you see me involved with that have the specific needs, because that in itself is gonna help the situation. So shout out to everybody that's in. It's another edition of the Reach Podcast Show. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thanks.